Hello, dear students. This is RHS Prasad, lecturer in chemistry, VSM College, Ramachandrapura. Today onwards, we are going to discuss about the second unit in paper 3, that is in second year MSc Analytical Chemistry, third semester. The name of the unit is Analysis of Finished Products. So, in this unit, the topics which we are going to discuss about are: first one is analysis of steel, second one it is about analysis of blast furnace slag, next analysis of refractory materials like fire clay, fluorspar and magnesite, and last one is analysis of fluxes like limestone and dolomite. So in this video we are going to discuss about the analysis of steel. What is steel? Generally, steel is one of the form of iron. So depending on the percentage of carbon, iron is of three types. First one is cast iron. Here the percentage of carbon is greater than 2%. Next, second one is wrought iron. In wrought iron, the percentage of carbon is less than 0.5. And last one is about steel. In steel, the percentage of carbon is in between 0.5 to 1.5 percentage. So, what is steel? Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon containing less than 2% carbon and 1% manganese, and small amounts of silicon, phosphorus, sulfur and oxygen. Then steel is the world's most important engineering and construction material, we can observe clearly. Now, if you wanted to analyze any sample, first of all, we need to go through the sampling step. Now, the sampling of steel. So, first of all, you need to select random sufficient number of rods and sheets like this to represent the material from which the sample is to be collected. After that, taking different parts at different points, like if the sheet is like this, so collect the samples from here like that. Okay, so that you can prepare the representative sample or laboratory sample. Next, remove the rust or the other material. Care should be taken to prevent contamination from the outside materials. The sample is kept in a glass toppered bottle. Then label the sample bottle. So, this sample is used for the analysis of that particular steel. So, after sampling, you need to go through the second step for analysis, that is called as dissolution. So, if you wanted to dissolve the steel sample, you need to take a known amount of the sample, that is 1 gram of sample, add 50 ml of 1:3 HNO3, Then whenever you add the HNO3, then NO2 gas is formed. Then all the metals present in the steel is in the form of solution. Next step is analysis, that is determination of different constituents which are present in steel. So particularly the steel contains carbon, silicon, sulfur, phosphorus, manganese, nickel, chromium and magnesium. So in this first video, I wish to discuss about the determination of these four constituents. In next video, I will discuss about these four constituents determination in steel. So let's go with the determination of carbon. You can observe the operators like this. Here you can observe the operators A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, like that. So I will give you much knowledge about the operators. So in this slide, okay, is it clear? So this is the operators used to determine the carbon which is present in steel. So the part A is, it is oxygen supply, it is for oxygen supply, and B is for oxygen reservoir. You can observe the oxygen reservoir here. Next C, it is mercury manometer. You can observe the mercury manometer here. Next, tower containing soda asbestos. So you can observe the tower which contains soda asbestos and anhydrone. Next, E contains, it contains mercury. It contains mercury here. And F, it is a furnace, means it is the electrical heater. So in which the sample will be heated. Next, G, that is the tower containing chromic acid. You can observe here the tower which contains chromic acid, H2Cr4. And H, it is the tower containing concentrated H2SO4, and I also contains concentrated H2SO4. You can observe these two. So those two are towers containing H2SO4. And J is the bottle containing concentrated H2SO4 and glass wool. You can observe here. So glass wool. And then K is anhydrone. It is the anhydrone which contains anhydrone. And L is it is soda asbestos. L is soda asbestos. Okay, so this is the description of apparatus which is used to determine the carbon which is present in steel sample. So what is the process to determine carbon? So you need to take 2 to 3 gram of sample in a boat, means here in this boat you need to take 2 to 3 gram of the steel sample and introduce the boat into a preheated combustion tube. You can observe the combustion tube here. This is the combustion tube. So after that, close the tube and allow the sample to heat for 1 to 2 minutes. Next, pass the oxygen gas at 300 to 400 milliliter per minute. At that time, the furnace temperature at 1100 degrees Celsius. After combustion is completed, then weigh the increase in combustion tube due to carbon dioxide and use blank determination. Blank determination is nothing but the determination without a sample. So the increase in weight of the sample, that will give the amount of CO2 which is present, but our aim is to determine the percentage of carbon. So here the weight of CO2 into the factor, that is 0.2739 into 100 by weight of the sample, will give the information about the percentage of carbon which is present in the steel. So in steel, the carbon determination can be done by using this combustion apparatus. And next, that is determination of silicon. So if you wanted to determine the silicon which is present in steel sample, so first of all you need to take 5 gram of sample of steel in a beaker. Then you need to add 40 ml 1 is to 1 HCl and dissolve the sample and evaporate the fumes and then cool it. Next, add 100 ml water and stir, then filter through ashless filter paper. So transfer the residue into a platinum crucible, heat and then ignite it for 15 minutes at the temperature 1100 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. After that you need to cool it. So cool after cooling process you need to add 2 to 5 drops of 1 is to 1 H2SO4 and 3 to 5 ml HF. Then what happens is, so initially the silicon which is present in the sample will be converted into silicon dioxide, that is silica. So if you add H2SO4 and HF, then this silicon dioxide, that is silica, will be converted into silicon tetrafluoride, so which has the volatile property. So entire silicon which is present in the sample will be evaporated out. Then the total silica will be evaporated. So evaporate to dryness. Next, ignite at 1000 degrees Celsius. Then cool and weigh the difference in weight due to evaporation of silica, means loss of silica. Then the percentage of silicon is equal to weight of silica which is evaporated out into 0.4672 into 100 divided by weight of sample will give the information about the percentage of silicon. So what should you do? You need to take the sample, dissolve in HCl, then you need to, if you add HCl, the entire constituents which are present in steel will be dissolved, but silicon will not be dissolved, so that it will be converted into silica. That silica will be converted into silicon tetrafluoride. So the loss in weight of the sample will give the information about the silicon, that is Si. Yes, it is silica, but our intention is not silica, it is only silicon. Okay, Si is silicon, SiO2 is silica. Okay, right. So weight of silica into factor. So what is the factor here? So weight of Si by weight of SiO2, that is atomic weight of Si. So I am talking about this factor. So atomic weight of Si and molecular weight of SiO2 will give the information about the factor. Is it clear? Right. So that will give the percentage of silicon which is present in the steel sample. Next one is determination of sulfur. If you wanted to determine the sulfur which is present in the steel sample, just you need to convert the sulfur into its oxidized form. Then after the addition of barium chloride, then barium chloride will form precipitate with sulfate ion, that is the oxidized state of sulfur, to form a precipitate called barium sulfate, as we know earlier in unit 1, that is in analysis of ores. So same process is here, so you can observe carefully. So determination of sulfur: 5 gram of sample in a beaker, add HNO3 to dissolve the sample, and then add bromine for complete recovery of sulfur. So as you know very clearly, very well known one, that bromine is most powerful oxidizing agent, so that the sulfur will be oxidized. So after that you need to add 0.5 gram of sodium carbonate and evaporate to dryness. After that the next step is you need to add 10 ml concentrated HCl and 25 ml water. After that 5 gram of sulfur free zinc. So you know very clearly, if you add zinc it will reduce, it is used as a reducing agent. So after the addition of sulfur free zinc, then warm on steam bath until iron is reduced, then filter it. So wash with HCl, then add 10% barium chloride solution. So boil for 30 minutes and allow the precipitate to settle. So wash with hot water, that is barium sulfate, which is formed, is washed with hot water, then heat strongly, cooled in a desiccator, and then weigh. Then the percentage of sulfur is equal to weight of barium sulfate into 0.1373 into 100 by weight of sample. It is nothing but atomic weight of sulfur by molecular weight of barium sulfate, that is 32 by 233, will give the factor value, that is 0.1373, which we you know very clearly. Next, determination of phosphorus. So for the determination of phosphorus, this phosphorus determination can be done by weighing it as magnesium pyrophosphate. You know, very clearly in previous topics we discussed about this same concept is there here, just observe. So take 3 gram of sample in a conical flask, and then for dissolution you need to add 1:3 HNO3, and then add 3 to 4 drops of 40% hydrofluoric acid, that is HF, and 10 ml 2.5% KMnO4, and boil. Dissolve the precipitate by sodium sulfate solution. Boil for few minutes and expel oxides of nitrogen oxides. After that, next step is add 5 ml concentrated HNO3 and 10 ml ammonium molybdate solution. After the addition of ammonium molybdate solution, then the phosphorus which is present in the solution will be converted into ammonium phosphomolybdate. Then stir it on a hot plate for 30 minutes. After that, filter the precipitate, wash with ammonium hydroxide, then magnesia reagent. That magnesia reagent is nothing but the mixture of magnesium chloride and ammonium chloride in ammonia solution. Then the precipitate of magnesium ammonium phosphate is filtered and washed with dilute ammonia, dried and ignite at 1100 degrees Celsius in platinum crucible. Then after ignition, the magnesium ammonium phosphate will be converted into magnesium pyrophosphate, that is Mg2P2O7. So for the calculation of percentage of phosphorus which is present in the steel sample can be calculated by using this formula: weight of magnesium pyrophosphate into 0.6378, that is factor, into 100 percentage calculation by weight of the sample will give the information about the percentage of phosphorus which is present in the steel sample. So today's assignment question: explain the process for the determination of carbon in steel. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. to this class. Thank you.